Alright, so if you're tuning on here, I just want to take a second and go through like some pieces of equipment and stuff. So I know you guys got that quiz coming up, and it's fair game, the material that was covered in that lab. And some of you couldn't get back here to actually see the equipment, so I wanted to let you have an opportunity to see it. So here's this power cord, and here is one of our scales that you can see, and it's used to get mass of things. So you see this popping around and everything. Don't worry about that. When it's sitting here, it's not going to do that. I keep moving it around, so it's throwing it off right now. But there's two buttons on it. You got the off button, you have the on button, and the on button also will zero it. So what it'll do is if I set it down and I hit that button to zero, it zeroes everything out. So this is a scale, and we use that to find masses. So I'm going to go through some other things. I'm going to hit like the big items. Here's one that might surprise you. This is a distilled water bottle. So you need to make sure that you know that's the distilled water bottle. The only water that goes in this is the distilled water, not anything else. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way some as we're going through. Now the next one has a couple of different things. Here's the first one. This is found in your cabinets in the lab stations. This is a ring stand. We use the ring stand for us to attach a piece of equipment that I presented to you guys. This goes by a couple different names. The name that you are familiar with it being is burette clamp. This is also better known as the utility clamp, because we can clamp and hold many things with these that is in a tube. So this is called a utility clamp. The utility clamp just connects on here so that we can have one of our expensive piece of glassware that you guys got familiar with, the burettes. So here's the burette. It's back there where the fire blanket is and the aprons. And all we do is we just open the utility clamp up, and we'll hold that burette right in there. So this is useful for us for holding things, especially whenever we do titrations later. You'll get to see that. So I'm going to slide this on back. Now I want to go to various different size things. So first, here is a graduated cylinder. But this is the thing with graduated cylinders. And a lot of this glassware, it comes in various shapes and sizes. So here is a small, this is a 10 milliliter graduated cylinder, and this is a 100 milliliter graduated cylinder. Do I expect you to be able to look at me and be that specific if I asked you a question on it? No. If I asked you what this is, it's a graduated cylinder. If I asked you what this is, it's a graduated cylinder. The only big difference is if I'm trying to measure out 60 milliliters of water, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use this because I can get 60 milliliters at one time. This 10 milliliter, I would have to use it 6 times. Stick these over to the side. Staying with the theme of various sizes, we have our Erlenmeyer flask. Okay, these are the ones that's got a nozzle coming at the top. And the reason we actually use these in chemistry is like if we want to mix something, well, I can take this and just stir it with my hand. I don't have to put nothing in, and just let the liquid spin around in there. It'll mix itself, and it's not going to come out. That's why this is wide down here and it comes to these nozzles at the top. But these are Erlenmeyer flasks. Staying with the various sizes, you guys are very familiar with this because a lot of you guys struggled with using this, and that's okay. I wanted you just to get an idea and get to use it some and get hands-on with it. But this is the 10 milliliter, and this is a pipette. Now, the pipettes, like other pieces of glassware, come in various sizes. So here is a 10 milliliter, here's a 50. Now I wanted to show you this because I might bring out a different size. That's a possibility that you may have to use, or something you may see. I want to make sure you guys are familiar. These are pipettes. The great quantity of volume it's held is held here in the bulb, and the strands up here is very small, so we see that line better, and it's more accurate whenever we see that meniscus forming off. So there's pipettes. Going from there, if you're going to use a pipette, you also have to have a pipette bulb. So this one still has a little water left in it from the lab, but this is a pipette bulb that connects to the end of it for us to be able to suck the liquid or solution up into the pipette that we're looking for. Another useful tool for us is a glass stirring rod. All this is, it's a glass stick. Plus you get a close-up. Hopefully it looks good. So that's a glass stirring rod, and all we'll use this for is to stir things, and we'll also use that little magic trick I showed you with water, and how they're with water, that natural property of those hydrogen bonds in there that gives that adhesion, and we can set that on top and pour with it, and the water's attracted to it, and it'll fall right off to the end, to the tip here, and fall into whatever we're trying to pour into. Then the last one is still dealing with various sizes, are beakers. So here are some beakers. That's a 400 milliliter beaker. Here's a 150 milliliter beaker. And you can tell that by this number up here, 150. And here's a little guy, he's a 50 milliliter. And yet again, I'm not worrying that if I ask you to identify a piece of equipment from the lab, if you can tell me that that's a 100 milliliter graduated cylinder. Just give me graduated cylinder. Just give me the name of it. Doesn't matter if you can tell me 50 milliliter pipette. Okay, well, I know it's 50 because it's got the number on there, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried that you can identify that as a pipette. Now in this, the whole point of that lab with that accuracy and precision that we did was to figure out which one of these are useful for what. So you should have found that the pipette is the most precise, and we discussed that in class, so if you need to hit up what we mean by precise or accuracy, precision and accuracy, go back to that lesson. The video is here on YouTube. But this right here should have been the most precise. It has one measurement on it. That's why it's the most precise. It's only used for that quantity of measurement. From there, you step down to the burette. So here's the burette again, and I know the burette has multiple measurements, but that's the one that we know is very precise and very accurate. It's not as precise as the pipette, but it is extremely precise and accurate, and we can trust it and use it. From there, the graduated cylinder is what I would call the middle ground. It is very good at getting certain quantities and volumes. And the two that are absolutely you never want to use if you're actually needing a set value of volume of something are the Erlenmeyer flasks or the beakers. Because those numbers on the side, that's ballpark. I mean, these things are within 5% of, they give like 5% give or take. So it can be good within 5% or off by 5%. Those are really just for us to put solutions in, mix them up, hold solutions for us. It's really not meant for us to be using these to measure out a certain quantity. So if I was needing 75 milliliters of water, I would not take this Erlenmeyer flask where it has that 75 on it and use that. What I would do is I would take this graduated cylinder, come up here to the 75 mark, fill that up, and I would measure that meniscus. Remember, from the bottom. Measure from the bottom of the meniscus. And then once I got that, I would pour that into my Erlenmeyer flask. And then I would have that 75 milliliters in here. And I wouldn't be worried if it lined up on or off that 75 mark, because remember, this is not very accurate or precise. So we're not worried about that. But I just want to take a moment to run through these pieces of glassware. If you need more help with them, come ask me. Ask me before your quiz. Don't wait till the day of. Don't come right in and be asking what this is, what that is. You need to be responsible and come ask me before. So remember, here's beakers, and these are our various sizes. Erlenmeyer flasks, graduated cylinders, distilled water bottle, pipettes, pipette bulb, sorry. Here are the pipettes that are used with the pipette bulbs. A glass stirring rod, and this whole get up here. You have the burette, the utility clamp, and this ring stand. If you have any questions, let me know.